And I don't think there's any place that we can start that would make more sense than starting right here with this MMA fighting headline. Former UFC champion Chris Cyborg signs with Bellator MMA. Now, it was a very, very publicized feud over the past couple months that has been going on with Chris Cyborg and the UFC. Chris Cyborg resurrected old video clips of Joe Rogan laughing about her having a penis, and old video clip of Dana White saying that she looked like Vanderlei Silva in a dress and heels at the MMA Awards. And there was a big fallout, big negotiation. Dana White's coming out saying that she really just, what it is she doesn't want to fight Amanda Nunes. So she's out here making this kind of a spectacle and creating this kind of drama that's really not organic. It's really not real. It's not really something that's going on. There's not really this friction on the UFC's part, is Dana's claim. That they support Chris Cyborg, that they've bent over backwards to accommodate her and to promote her, and that what it's really all about is she's wanting to exit the UFC, get easier fights, and get herself a big deal as an independent free agent. And that's exactly what she got. I'm not going to sit and say that I agree with Dana White's claims, but nevertheless, Chris Cyborg obviously wants to part ways with the UFC. The Amanda Nunes rematch wasn't enough to seduce her into signing another contract to stay. She has been vocal in saying that she wanted basically to sign a one-fight contract to fight Amanda Nunes, and the UFC wanted no part of that. And nevertheless, flash forward, and we get her signing with Bellator, which sets up, I think, a very interesting featherweight title rematch in Bellator with current UFC women's featherweight champion Julia Budd. But let's look into this article a little bit. It says right here at the beginning, Chris Cyborg has ended her free agency. The former UFC featherweight champion has inked a deal to join the roster at Bellator MMA, where she will team up with her former Strikeforce promoter Scott Coker again. The Bellator president made the announcement on Tuesday while stating that she inked the biggest contract in women's MMA history. Now, I don't know the details of this contract, but that is Scott Coker's claim, that she is now underneath the biggest contract that any woman fighter has ever had for MMA. And it says very clearly into this article that they are pretty much already just announcing. They might as well just did a 1-2 punch and just announced she signed with Bellator and we're going to put her against Julia Budd, because it mentions it very much in here. Cyborg is the most dominant female fighter in history of the sport, and she will be a perfect fit here at Bellator, where champion Julia Budd and the other women that make up the best female featherweight division in the world have eagerly awaited her arrival. Yeah, I'm sure that they're eagerly awaiting to fight Chris Cyborg. And, then it goes into just her resume in the UFC, just talking about her UFC tenure, where she came in, her first bout with the promotion was back in 2016 when she fought Leslie Smith, and then she fought Lena Landsberg, Tanya Evinger, and Holly Holm. She actually won the vacant UFC featherweight title in her fight with Tanya Evinger, after they stripped Jermaine Durandamy for refusing to fight Chris Cyborg. She defended her belt twice before being notoriously and infamously knocked out in 51 seconds by Amanda Nunes, and then comes off her decision win over Felicia Spencer back at UFC 240 just a few months ago. Now she's parting ways and heading to Bellator, where about with Julia Budd will be very interesting to see, because Julia Budd's on a very good run and is a very good fighter. She's 13-2 overall. She's 36 years old. And she hasn't lost a fight since she lost to a first-round armbar to Ronda Rousey back in 2011, back in the Strikeforce days. Her only two losses on her resume were in the year of 2011 in Strikeforce to none other than Ronda Rousey and Amanda Nunes. You may have heard of those two. So I think that we're going to probably be seeing Chris Cyborg and Julia Budd by the end of the year. I think that's a very good fight and a very good. This is a good pickup for Bellator. Bellator's expanding their women's MMA roster. I think they've had a very good year with a lot of good fights. I've really enjoyed their Grand Prix tournaments. So Bellator's doing some good things, and they picked up a good acquisition. With picking up Chris Cyborg.